On this week's show, a SportsCenter top play and a 3-touchdown night. We'll recap the action from Liberty at Old Dominion.
Plus, we'll take you on a wide receiver's journey away from and back to the gridiron. And what's the mindset of a high jumper? Find out on this edition of Flame Central.
Fall in Virginia is just too nice to be cooped up inside our studio, so we've taken this week's Flame Central to the friendly confines of Williams Stadium. What's up, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in. Alongside Emily Austin, I'm Matt Warner.
The Flames weren't on this field this past week, but they did stay in the Commonwealth of Virginia as they faced Old Dominion with some bragging rights on the line.
Yeah, you never want to lose to somebody in your state. And the Flames, since moving to the FBS, hadn't lost to Old Dominion. They were 2-0 with both victories coming in blowouts. It wouldn't be that easy on this night, however, but it would be fun. And the fun started early with the catch of the year. Caden Salter, the Jaivian Lofton, one-handed, backhanded, 34-yard touchdown. That deserves another look. This catch has drawn millions of views on social media and was SportsCenter's top play. More on that in just a moment. The Flames' next score, well, it would be almost as memorable. Salter throws what looked to be a sure thing interception, but as fate would have it, it pinned ball off the DB into the hands of CJ Yarbrough, who took it in for the score. Two not-so-routine touchdowns put the Flames up 14-0. Jump to late second quarter now. ODU had tied it up at 14-all, but that's when Day Hunter started doing his thing. The Flames running back with a 29-yard TD scamper. Liberty would lead 21-17 at the break. Second half, Salter was pulled from the game as he battled injury, but Liberty would lean on Hunter, a 32-yard touchdown run. He would finish with 121 yards on the ground, and he would also contribute through the air. 3 catches, 60 yards, and this TD, it was a 41-yard scoring play from Jonathan Bennett to Hunter, and that would be the nail in the coffin. The Flames take down ODU by the final of 38-24, improving to 4-1 on the year. But after the game, everybody was still talking about that Jaivian Lofton catch.
Jiggy J, that's the dude right there. Jiggy J with the one hand. We had 2 one-hand catches today with the receivers. I seen that. That had me shook. Like, I ain't gonna cap. I think I had a good day. You feel me? It was all right. You feel me? But nah, that first play of the game, I was walking around here like that was the best catch I ever seen. I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, that catch is undefeated.
When he came silent, I said, I got a few words for you. I don't know how many it is, but da-na-na, da-na-na, because that's probably going to be on SportsCenter.
Can we take a moment and talk about how awesome Day Hunter is? I mean, his energy is just unmatched. More on him in just a minute. But for now, let's piggyback off their reaction to Jaivian Lofton's unreal touchdown catch. It's time for Hearsay with EA. Coach Freeze was right, because I was standing in my kitchen and heard da-na-na, da-na-na on my phone minutes after that TD. ESPN telling me about a big-time highlight I must see. Little did they know, I already saw it live. Look at this grab one more time. This video has over 3.5 million views on ESPN SportsCenter Twitter. I mean, this catch went viral. Look at all the posts and retweets. Bleacher Report, The Athletic, sports news stations from Boston to Texas to Florida were all writing about it. It was even the #1 play on SportsCenter's countdown. What a cool moment for Jaivian. All right, let's slow down, though. Look at this still shot taken at the perfect timing. Shout out to Liberty photographer Joel Coleman for capturing this photo. Ridiculous. All right, Jaivian, you can't take over the entire segment. We got to give some love to Day, who's getting jiggy with it. 3 scores in 1 game? What? The result, PFF College ranked him as the highest graded Group of 5 running back through 5 weeks of college football.
Well, this season, we've been bringing you a segment called My Moment, where Liberty football players share their favorite play they were involved in as a Flame. This week's player just so happens to be Jaivian Lofton, although I think after that grab against ODU, the play you're about to see is probably getting bumped down a couple of spots in his personal rankings.
My name is Jaivian Lofton. I play wide receiver, and my best and favorite play that I've made here was against Campbell.
Bennett gonna throw, steps up in the pocket, takes a shot downfield. He's got a man, caught, touchdown. Jaivian Lofton with the grab.
I was already hyped up because my fam was out here for the first time, and I saw the play call, and I just knew it was coming to me. It was 2nd and 24. They had just brought JB in, and me and JB got some great chemistry.
2nd down and long at the 35. Bennett steps up the pocket, throws end zone to the right. It's going to be caught. Line him up. Touchdown, Liberty. Jaivian Lofton.
He threw it up, he trusted me, and I made a big play in the back of the end zone.
This play is just good all the way around. They get Jaivian Lofton singled up to the top of the formation, and he runs a little stutter and go on him.
JV came looking at me, smiling and shaking my hand, dapping me up, because it's nothing new that we don't do, It's just what we do. My emotions after the play were just all over the place. I was just so excited because my mom and my pops and my grandma got to come out and see me for the first time, and I was just so blessed to be in that opportunity and be able to showcase what I can to the world, but most importantly in front of my family.
You're right, Matt. I'm pretty sure Jaivian has a new favorite, My Moment. Staying on the offensive side of the ball, the Flames' ground game is heating up. They finished with 210 rushing yards against the Monarchs. So, on this week's Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage, football analyst Joe Yock gets technical and also gives some high praise for a specific coach.
My shout-out's going to go first and foremost to Coach K, which I like
Coach
to refer to as
Klonakis,
Coach Klonakis, which I like to refer to him as the real Coach K.
That's right.
I'm not a big fan.
Down
not
there
that guy. Not that other, the other guy.
Yeah,
right. The real Coach K has got this offensive line playing very well. Like when you can take a line that knows, first of all, they know who to block.
Yeah.
That's the battle number one. All right. Number two is what they're starting to do is they're starting to pick up the angles in their blocking. So you know who to block. Now you got to figure out the angles on how to block people. Come here, Matt Warner. Come here. Get up here.
Oh my gosh.
Get up here, Matt.
All right.
It's your back. Emily, get right there. Get right there. Get over here.
I am getting up.
It's right. You're Day Hunter.
Yeah, our director's having a heart
And
attack
here,
with us moving around.
and he got, come at me, come at me,
yeah.
guy here. But then they move their hips. They move their hips and feet.
Am I
Turn
going
here.
this
And
way?
you're going right there.
I'm going this way.
Yeah.
And it all comes into, right here, Matt. It all comes into here. And don't get bent over like this.
Yeah.
Get that flat back and then move those hips
Yeah.
like that. Right there. And boom. Day-Day's off and running. And that goes back to Gatlin right there.
Yeah.
And that old line blocking.
Yeah.
And that gets me fired up.
I could see that.
I
could see that.
Coach
you're
K,
not going to get this anywhere else.
Coach K, that one's for you. Good job. You got them boys playing, and I love it.
Want to see more of Joe Yock demonstrating run blocking? Of course, that's a ridiculous question. You do, who wouldn't? You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple, etc. Or you can just watch the podcast on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel. Watching a podcast. No, it doesn't make sense, but I think you'll enjoy it. Check out the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage.
Download it today. You won't regret it. Wide receiver CJ Yarbrough is coming off arguably his best game of the 2022 season. He recorded 94 yards and a touchdown, helping the Flames get past Old Dominion on the road. According to head coach Hugh Freeze, though, CJ is just now getting back into the swing of things after unexpectedly walking away from the game following the 2020 season.
The 2020 season was a special one for Liberty football.
That'll be a score for CJ Yarbrough.
Dang, that was a good year.
Kick was blocked and Liberty's going to win it.
That was a really good year.
But while the Flames were rolling to a 10-1 record and a bowl win, all was not smooth sailing for wide receiver CJ Yarbrough. He would battle a shoulder injury throughout the season, while also experiencing heartbreak.
I lost my grandmother that season, and it was right after the Syracuse game. And my grandmother was like my person. Like, that was my lady. And like, she raised me in a way that was rough. That was mentally, I'll admit it now. I probably wouldn't have admitted it then, but I was down in the dumps. I was down. Like, it was bad.
So much so that when the 2020 season concluded, a thought crept into CJ's mind that would surprise even him.
What if I didn't play football next year? It was just a thought, and then I kind of said it out loud. I was like, what if I don't play football next year? And so I typed up the message, and I told Coach Harris, like, I've decided not to come back in the spring for the next football season. That in itself was very difficult because I played football my whole life. Football is all I've done. Doing that and then having that freedom was like, well, what do I do now?
What he did was pursue something that was close to both he and his family's heart.
I've had a lot of military personnel in my family. Like my granddad, he's a Purple Heart veteran. I have a cousin right now, Courtney, he's in the Army. Military's in my family. So I started doing ROTC, and way different than football. Still found that same like brotherhood in a sense, because obviously everybody is trying to help each other. It kind of replaced that emptiness of not being in football. And not only that, but I truly love the military. It helped me mature a lot. I was up every morning at 4:30 and getting a devotional in, going to run, work out, lift. In that aspect, it helped me grow a lot.
And it was also during this time that CJ would begin to grow spiritually.
I grew up going to church and stuff like that, but I was in church, but I wasn't in church. Like, you can be there, but not listen and not take in anything. I hate to say it, that's kind of what it was for me growing up. It was time for me to change how I live, change how I think, how I do things.
CJ would get baptized on July 11th of 2021. He experienced a new sense of purpose, a new perspective, which started him thinking about an old passion. And not long after, Liberty wide receivers coach Maurice Harris reached out.
He would always just call and check on me, see how I'm doing, see how my family's doing. And he asked me, he was like, "You miss football?" And I was like, a little bit.
I was missing him, you know what I mean? So it was from that perspective. So I asked him, did he miss it? And he said he did. I said, well, shoot, man, come on back. Let's see how this thing works out.
And just like that, the wheels were in motion.
I had to go dig out my cleats. They were at the bottom of this tote that I had put all my stuff in, and it was kind of like a leave alone tote. And so I went and got my cleats out, and I went to the field, and I ran a route, and it had been, well over a year. And I was like, oh man, I got some work to do.
Yarbrough would rejoin the Flames prior to this season, but this time, football wasn't the focus.
I was playing for the Lord.
His time away has given him a new mission.
While I am here to enjoy football and be the best player that I can be on that team, I'm here for a bigger purpose, and that's to spread the word of Jesus. I started praying about it. I was like, God, just use me how you want, not how I want, because it's not by my will, but by yours.
Now, in addition to making plays on the field,
wow, what a catch by CJ Yarbrough.
Another purpose or another path for you to take.
You can find CJ making a difference as a spiritual leader within the team.
If you're standing on his word, then you know okay, this is the path where I need to take.
Stepping away from the game has allowed CJ to now step into a new role, one that can have an eternal impact.
Not worried about a stat, not worried about a catch. I'm not worried about like how many of those that I can get, because I know at the end of the day, 10 years from now, you're not gonna remember that. But 10 years from now, somebody in the locker room might remember that I talked to him about Jesus. You might get a phone call. Hey, CJ, you remember? Yeah, I do. And that for me, oh my, that's what I'm in it for.
Great job on producing that piece, Matt. It is just such a great testimony that CJ has. And we talked about it on this week's podcast, how mature this guy is. I mean, a spiritual leader for this group, and just seeing him work has been really, really neat on this team.
Yeah, and it's not just for, he didn't just do that for our story, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's who he is. I've talked to him after good games, after games where he didn't perform as well. His purpose remains the same. He wants to impact people on that team and wants to help them grow in their faith walk, and he is doing just that for them this year.
Safe to say, impacting lives off the field and impacting this football team on the field. Okay, straight ahead, we get you caught up on some huge games that happened on Liberty's campus, including a top 25 showdown.
Plus, Rhett McGibbon names his top 3 Liberty athletes from the past week in Warm, Hot, and Fuego. That's when Flames Central returns.
For me, I started here at Liberty University in 2006. I sat down with Dr. Jerry Falwell himself. He looked at me in my eyes and he said, "You're going to be the reason why we start to turn this program around to one day beating Notre Dame." I shook his hand and said, "I promise I'm going to do my part." Our football team was here when there was AstroTurf. Like, we didn't even have an away locker room for teams. The Moss was the newest building built on campus when I was here. Like, we thought that was it. We were like, yo, this university is growing. That's how long ago it was. Not even long ago, but that's how quick the university grew. For me, getting my jersey retired means so much. It means the world to me. Not just even to me, but everybody that was a part. Like, I didn't do it by myself. I had people believe in me before I knew who I was. For me, To think that the jersey retirement is about myself would be ignorant. This jersey retirement is a staple of a group of men that came together and committed to something bigger than themselves. Liberty University is majorly important to our culture today because of what we represent. And so, to culture where morality is being challenged constantly, you need a backbone, and Liberty provides that.
Welcome back to Flame Central, coming to you from Williams Stadium. Well, just next door to this facility, Liberty women's soccer has been on an absolute tear. They entered their most recent contest against North Alabama, unbeaten in the A-Sun and winners of 4 straight. On the flip side, UNA still looking for its first A-Sun win, and they wouldn't find it on this night. Liberty got the scoring started in the first half. Ava Goodman with her first collegiate goal to put LU in front. About 12 minutes later, Bridie Herman. How often have we called her name this year? She scores her 3rd goal of the season. She would also assist on 2 others in this match as Liberty wins its 5th straight by the score of 4-1. It's Liberty's longest win streak since 2017.
To the men's side, it was coming down on Saturday night as the Flames hosted Stetson. Check out this goal. The Hatters nonchalantly strike from distance for the first goal of the game. Holy smokes, what a shot. Let's go to the 84th minute. Tie game at 1. Gabe Finley on the breakaway to give the Flames a 2-1 lead. However, after a foul in the 86th minute, Stetson knots it up at 2 on a penalty kick, and that's how this one will end. Let's go across campus because there would be a ranked field hockey match taking place on Sunday afternoon. The number 14 Liberty Flames played host to the number 1 UNC Tar Heels. And this one would be no short of action. Unfortunately for LU, that action came from UNC's Erin Madsen. She recorded 4 total on the day. About 30 minutes in, the Flames only trailed by 1, but then the Tar Heels scored 4 unanswered. You guessed it, Madsen was behind 3 of those. Bethany Dykema will score on a penalty corner in the 57th minute, but too little, too late as the Flames fall to the number 1 team in the nation, 6-3.
To volleyball, Liberty hosting Jacksonville State. Both were unbeaten in A-Sun play. The Gamecocks would take the first 2 games of this match. They entered with only 1 loss on the season, by the way. They look like they might run away with this thing, but hold on. The Lady Flames storming back to win the next 2, thanks in part to Trinity Watts' first career triple-double. But in the 5th set, Liberty would finally run out of steam. They end up losing this one. But at this point, the Lady Flames look like one of the top teams in the conference.
Let's head to the indoor track. High jump. What an interesting talent one must have in order to be successful at this particular field event. You're running toward a bar some 7+ feet in the air. You have to basically turn backwards, arch your back, and clear the bar. I'm having a difficult time understanding not only how to be so good at this event, you go to nationals as a freshman, but what kind of mindset it takes to break gravity.
You feel like you have all the time in the world. when you do your approach and you do your little step, when you go up, you're kind of just levitating. Your body's coming up, and then all you gotta do is just be calm, arch your back, watch your hips go back, and just kick over. In that moment, it's like you're just there and present. Everything silences out, and you're just in the air. It's just you and the bar. You're kind of floating. That's where like the pinnacle of high jump is. And if you can get that as a high jumper, it's like breaking gravity for a few seconds. I realized that I could actually go far with this. It's like something that I'm passionate about. Even when I lose, I'm not that upset. I think it's a blessing and a big part of my testimony, because not only is it something that I did, it was also something that God did in my life. My power comes from the Holy Spirit. And not only that, but my parents play a big role in that. My community plays a major role, and as well as the consistency and training. If my physical life isn't representing my spiritual life, well then my soul and my mind aren't gonna be put together. If I get my soul, my mind, and my body all put together into one event, that's gonna allow me to be the best and most successful I can be. God, my family, and my community is what gets me to get over the bar and jump so high.
Thanks to Helmut Montoya for that piece, and Kennedy Sauter is an absolute stud, by the way. All right, speaking of absolute studs, Rhett McGibbon made his way over to Williams Stadium for a little warm, hot, and fuego. Rhett, appreciate you stopping by. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty Athletics. Let's start with warm, Rhett. What are we looking at?
Breakout performance by Allison Hansford, Lady Flames Soccer. The freshman doubled down against UCA. 2 goals in that game. The first one, beautiful spin move. Boy, does she ever slip through the crack on this one. Splitting the defense coming in. A great strike to add on to the Flames total in that game. And then later on, second half, she has great ball control. Just the ability, the defender kind of on her back, and she places it inside the post. An offensive onslaught for Lady Flame Soccer. And when you have a freshman with 4 goals on the season, and you're getting some secondary offense throughout the year, no wonder the Lady Flames are on an unbeaten streak right now.
They are on an absolute roll.
They have
Good
been fun.
Them. Yeah, all right. From warm we go to hot.
Day Hunter. The milkman delivered in this last game. Talking about 3 touchdowns total, 1 through the air. He's been so much fun to watch, and he keeps getting better and better. And arguably, you could say the Flames would have been in trouble in the last 2 games.
No doubt.
If he didn't have those kind of ground performances that he did. Over 100 yards in this last game. And then you see him, he's starting to find his mojo, like over 8 yards per carry.
Yeah.
That's insane. Banging off guys, still able to take it and get that speed to break away from. He's been so much fun to watch. The whole run game was great in that game. You know, Shedro was good too, but Day getting the touchdowns, 3 of them. It's great to see how far he's come since game 1 of the season. You have to think like the sky is the ceiling for this guy as it stands right now.
Well, and they're even getting him involved in the pass game. I mean, he's catching a lot of passes out of the backfield, and he is dangerous all the way around. So a lot of fun to watch so far this year. All right, finally now, Rhett, in Fuego. Who's in Fuego this week?
Yeah, it's the performance by the catch by Jaivian Lofton. This guy, what a grab it was. You know, I was kind of wondering if they were going to look at his hands for pine tar afterwards, right? The way that ball just stuck in there. Such a good story for him in the sense. I remember a couple years ago when Jaivian came to the team, a JUCO transfer. You're reading through magazines, you're getting ready for the year, and you're thinking, okay, this JUCO transfer has the ability to be a real game breaker for LU. Unfortunately, injuries and some adversity have stopped that early on, but you saw a glimpse of it in this last game, and for him, this is going to be a story that he's going to tell his kids and grandkids, that great catch being #1 on SportsCenter. It was a huge moment for him, and 2, he's been good throughout the year. Like, you've seen him targeted a lot more this season. He's got a lot more balls thrown his way, and I think he's healthy. He's got that speed. We heard the coaching staff saying, hey, watch out for Jaivian this year. He's looking good coming into it, and he proved that last game.
I mean, you just feel for these kids. They have trouble staying healthy, or they end up kind of having their career derailed due to injury. Makes it all the more special when you see a kid have the success that he's had here so far this season. Rhett, Great job as always. We appreciate it. All right, when we come back, it's a Flames Fantasy League update, possibly the last one we ever do if a certain trend continues. More on that when Flames Central returns.
Does education mean a room with 4 walls, a desk, and a PowerPoint lecture?
Or is it something bigger?
What if it's the people beside you, 1 chair away or 1 ocean away?
What if it's the chance to learn from your mistakes, as well as your victories?
And the push to keep going either way.
What if it's the freedom to reach for bigger things without missing the little ones in between?
For each of us, education looks a bit different.
Because we're each a bit different.
But at Liberty, we think education might just mean something big enough for all of us.
That's Liberty to us.
What will Liberty be to you?
A college degree is more than a diploma. It's taking control of your future and finding that next step. At Liberty University, we not only care about your career, we also care about your calling. And we want to help you learn, develop, and grow so you can make an impact as a champion for Christ. Over 450 online programs, 1 U, infinite possibilities.
At Liberty University, we don't just believe everyone should have access to higher education, we make it happen. That's why we are offering our Middle America Scholarship to help families like yours by providing over $20,000 over the course of 4 years. Money should not hold you back from the life-changing experience at Liberty University. Find out if you qualify for the Middle America Scholarship today.
Welcome back to Flames Central. I know everyone decided to stick around because they wanted to know who is leading the Flames Fantasy League, Matt.
Yeah, and it pains me to give you this update. I want to remind everyone out there a couple of things. It's early still. There's plenty of football left to be played, and I love a good comeback. That's a big part of what I'm all about. So let's take a look. You know the drill. Here are the teams. Me, Joe Yock, Emily, same scoring as normal fantasy football. After that ODU game, take a look at the scores. Big one from Day Hunter carrying you, Emily.
And, you know, I kind of forgot that.
You didn't even remember he was on your team.
Well, my defense has been carrying me all season, so it's just nice to have balance. You know, Matt, do you really still believe that you have a comeback coming?
I mean, my belief is wavering. That's for sure. This is the worst.
But the best part is that Joe Yock,
Joey's done. No comeback coming for him.
It's basically between us. So.
Hey, we're about out of time for this week. As always, for any stories you might have missed, go to libertyflamecentral.com.
All right, and don't forget, download the Flame Central podcast. It's getting pretty good.
It is.
For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you right back here next week.